Every couple of months, like clockwork, the internet erupts with this familiar declaration: the MCU is back, only to be met with the equally resounding: the MCU is dead. A constant back and forth that seems to plague every single MCU release. But here's the uncomfortable truth: the MCU isn't back. It's not even dead. It's something far worse. It's irrelevant. And no, Fantastic Four won't change that. Today, let's have an honest conversation about the fall of what was once the most unstoppable force in modern entertainment. Let's talk about everything, from the mistakes to the missed opportunities, the fatigue, and why even the most promising additions to this world, such as the Fantastic Four, aren't enough to bring this universe back from a state of collapse. Once upon a time, a Marvel movie wasn't just another release on a calendar. It was an event. These weren't just movies, they were cultural touchstones. Theaters were electric with energy from fans. You could count on massive opening weekends being all but guaranteed. The viral memes and the months of discussions about the events that took place in these films. People took days off work to see them. Theaters were packed and the excitement was infectious. Now, the MCU feels less like a cultural event and more like a corporation pushing out as much content as possible for the sake of doing so without a clear vision. The shift didn't happen overnight. It was slow, gradual, a creeping fatigue that set in after years of non-stop content. Not just films, but shows, specials, animated spin-offs, and short films. What once felt like an epic interconnected universe now feels bloated and directionless. There are too many projects, too many characters, and too few reasons to care. This isn't about the quality alone. Even when something good does come along, like Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, Thunderbolts, or Loki Season 2, it barely registers. There's no spark, no momentum. It's as if these movies are screaming into an empty void. Marvel hasn't just lost its hype, it's lost its impact. And a lack of compelling overarching narratives have combined to create a deadly concoction: apathy. Audiences aren't mad anymore. They're not even disappointed. They're just tired. And that's the most dangerous thing for a brand. Because tired people don't complain or even argue when they don't get what they want. They walk away. They stop showing up. And apathy is the most dangerous thing any franchise can face.
I want it to be over and done with. I do. I'm tired, boss.
It wasn't one big project that derailed the MCU. It was a death by 1,000 cuts. There have simply been too many missteps, too many broken promises, and too many poorly executed ideas, and too many stories that just didn't matter. Secret Invasion promised a political thriller, a spy drama in the world of superheroes. But what we got instead was a generic CGI sludge fest that managed to make every character worse off than when it started. Quantum Mania was meant to be the grand introduction of Kang, the new Thanos level threat. But buried under mountains of green screens, awkward jokes, and clunky exposition, Kang landed with a thud, making him seem more like a joke rather than a threat to be taken seriously. She-Hulk tried to be self-aware and witty, but instead mocked its own audience, dismissed its stakes, and replaced plots with parody. Worst yet, it wasn't even funny. None of these projects were doomed from the start. Each had potential, but Marvel has consistently prioritized volume over vision. Rushed scripts, uninspired direction, unfinished VFX, storylines that either go nowhere or contradict what came before, and worst of all, treating their audience as an afterthought, as if their opinions on these characters don't matter. It's not that every project has been bad, but the decisions being made, from direction to casting to tone, often feel like they're being made by people who don't understand or even care about the characters they're handling. They're treating these characters like content, and the audience feels it. Now, let's talk about the Fantastic Four. Yes, the film looks promising. The tone seems more grounded, the direction is interesting, the 60s aesthetic is a fun backdrop and world for these characters to play in. On paper, everything seems almost perfect. But why can't I bring myself to care? There's this almost hollow echo where the excitement for an MCU release used to be. And it's not because the Fantastic Four are bad characters per se, quite the opposite. They're Marvel's first family, legendary icons of the comic book world. These characters have lasted the test of time for a reason. Their stories have been seen by thousands, perhaps even millions. However, I believe the larger problem here is that I'm expecting it to be bad, because Marvel has conditioned me to expect disappointment, and I don't think I'm the only one who feels this way. It's also not helped that the Fantastic Four has had 3 previous cinematic outings, and in every case, all of them to varying degrees have failed.
You're a victim!
The 1994 unreleased film was made for a tax write-off and ultimately vaulted away. The 2005 and 2007 duology had charm and was admittedly fun, but ultimately failed due to the second film's poor performance at the theaters. And then there was the tragic misfire of Fans for Steak in 2015, a train wreck from its conception. The track record for this film isn't great. So now the same studio that gave us Secret Invasion wants us to believe that this will be different, that this time the Fantastic Four will be the ones to save the MCU. It doesn't matter how good the movie is, one great film can't fix a broken system. Just like No Way Home didn't save the MCU, the same way Deadpool and Wolverine couldn't do it, and ultimately neither will the Fantastic Four.
Boy, that escalated quickly. I mean, that really got out of hand fast.
It jumped up a notch.
It did, didn't it?
I told you. What did I tell you? Didn't I tell you? 'Cause I told you. And when did I tell you? A long time ago. And what did I say will happen when I told you? Exactly what just happened.
So now with the return of Robert Downey Jr. playing Doctor Doom in the next upcoming Avengers movie, we've reached our final form of desperation. And sure, it's a smart financial move. His name draws attention. Downey has been the face of the MCU for almost a decade. He's charismatic, beloved, and iconic. Nostalgia for him and the character of Iron Man is powerful. He has a large fan base that is willing to watch anything with him in it. But from a narrative perspective, this is a massive step backwards. Tony Stark's ending in Endgame was perfection. It was a full circle moment from the character he was in Iron Man 1 to the man he becomes in Avengers Endgame. A sacrifice that felt both emotional and earned. An ending to one of the best characters to ever be put to screen. To bring him back in any capacity risks cheapening that legacy. It feels less like a bold new chapter and more like clinging to the past. The same past, mind you, that wrapped up perfectly in a nice little bow back in Phase 3. It's a marketing move masquerading as storytelling, and fans will see right through this. When the MCU starts treating its own endings as temporary detours, it loses something vital. It loses meaning.
You either die a hero, or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
Let's take a deeper look into the multiverse, shall we? When the multiverse was introduced, it was thrilling. Infinite timelines with alternate heroes of varying powers. With it came the promise of endless possibilities. But in execution, it's become a crutch. A convenient way to bring back characters for a hit of nostalgia. Sidestep consequences, or rewrite canon when things go wrong. Any decision can be reversed. Any mistake can be corrected. You don't need to write compelling stakes when you can just pull in another version of said character to replace them. The character dies, bring in a variant. A story goes off the rails, shift timelines. Wanda loses her mind, there's always another one. It undermines everything. Why care about stakes if they can be reversed? Why invest into a hero's journey if another version can just take their place? The multiverse has made everything flat, weightless, safe. Instead of unlocking endless storytelling potential, it's removed the tension that once made this universe compelling. Another issue looms over the MCU, the growing divide between the creators and the fans. There's a performative cynicism that's plaguing Marvel right now. We're in an era where being cynical about superheroes is fashionable. Writers have gone from honoring icons to mocking them, from building myths to tearing them down. There's a consistent need to deconstruct, parody, and undermine heroes, where snarky remarks replace sincerity, and meta jokes stand in for actual character development. It's hard to get invested in a world or characters when the people making these stories don't even seem to care, or worse, don't even like the stories they're adapting. When it feels like the people making these stories don't even like the source material, the audience notices. Fans aren't stupid, they feel that disdain. They feel the disconnect. And when audiences no longer feel respected or represented, they tune out. They stop defending the brand and just simply move on. So where do we go from here? From the outside looking in, it seems that Marvel wants Secret Wars to be the grand finale of this current era of the MCU. It also seems to be doubling as a soft reboot for the franchise as a whole. New timeline, new characters, new stories. A chance to replace the old guard with fresh faces. Perhaps even bring back heroes who once knew with a fresh coat of paint. But maybe a reboot isn't the best choice for this franchise. Maybe the boldest thing Marvel can do right now is simply close the book on this chapter and end the story. Let it go out with dignity before it collapses entirely. Before, much like the DCEU, they just fade away and fall into obscurity. Because dragging this universe forward, kicking and screaming into more convoluted plots and soulless cameos only makes things worse. Allow fans to miss it. Let the brand rest. There's power in closure, power in restraint. I'm not saying we need to give up on Marvel forever, but maybe it's time for something different. Smaller stories, ones that offer unique and interesting experiences, ones that don't rely on a shared universe or interconnected lore as a crutch, ones that take risks, ones that have heart and actually have a story to tell. Let creators tell their Marvel stories, free from mandates and free from shared universe pressure. In a decade or so, maybe try again. Because maybe, just maybe, with the right people, the right intentions, and the right stories, maybe Marvel could recapture that magic once again. But hey, that's all folks. Do you trust the MCU anymore? Are you tired the same way I'm tired? Do you think the Fantastic Four will actually do something, or do you think much like almost every single other release, it will come out, maybe it will do well, maybe it will even make a decent amount of money, but at the end of the day, won't really change anything? Do you have a different viewpoint on this entirely? And maybe you even think the MCU can come back from this? Please feel free to share your thoughts and let me know down in the comments. But as always, please like, share, and subscribe. These always go a long way to help out the video and help out the channel as a whole. And hey, maybe you dislike the video. That's fine too. Just let me know what you think. That's the whole point of even having these kind of discussions. Marvel can't continue like this. Something has to change. I don't know what that is, but something has to change. Because eventually, it's gonna get to a point where these movies are unfeasible and too expensive to make, and the audience just isn't there and aren't interested in watching these anymore, and they're not financially viable. And bit by bit every year lose more and more of their audience, slowly just becoming irrelevant and eventually just fading into the background. I genuinely believe that the step forward from here is to just end everything and just start anew. And I don't mean reboot it, I mean end it and let it rest for a little bit and then start anew a few years later. Give this world some time to rest and have a solid vision and story for everything and how it's going to play out. It's not as if we Marvel fans are going anywhere. We love comic books. We've always loved comic book storytelling. But we also like good comic book stories. We're not just going to show up for anything. And until Marvel sees that, we're probably going to continue down this path. But hey, that's really all I have to say. But hey, I want to thank you for watching. It's been fun. And more than anything, thank you for your time. And on that note, I've been Casual Vandal. I hope you're entertained. I hope you enjoyed your stay. And until next time, it's bye-bye for now.